Hello, and welcome to the sexy side of menopause. I'm Beverly with Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching. I am a certified health coach and I am the CEO of the company. I'm also the founder of the Body and Lifestyle Academy, where I help women to break through the stigma of menopause and lean into a fabulous, confident, and sexy new vision of themselves through a holistic journey that I refer to as stepping into a powerful next level life. Thus, we have this podcast entitled The Sexy Side of Menopause because as we're navigating this journey, it's not all gloom and doom. There is a side that is so magnificent and so amazing. And in my interviews with women, I am here to introduce you to all the possibilities that are ahead for you if you haven't really thought about the sexy side. So today, I am going to be the one to teach you, educate you, and give you some simple aspects of understanding when it comes to the menopause journey. And as a health coach working with women on this journey, I found that we women did not have the conversations with our mothers and therefore left stumbling in the dark trying to figure out what's happening to us as we're navigating this change in our lives. And so, what is happening during this time of life is a hormonal shift of your progesterone, testosterone, and estrogen. Those are the three main ones. There's a lot of things that's happening, but those are the three ones. So I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about the phases. So my intention is to have you to be aware of what's happening, the ability to tap into your body and sense like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this. So that means I'm on my perimenopause journey, or I'm on my menopause window, or am I postmenopausal? So grab a pencil, paper, may want to replay this, share it with other women, even share it with your significant others, because the men in your life need to know what's happening as well. So I have some notes. I'm going to be talking to you, looking at my notes to make sure I don't miss anything, because I want this to be as complete, but in layman's terms, that you walk away empowered. Okay. So first of all, menopause is a natural process. Every woman that lives long enough will go through this process. And this is basically when your cycle is going to be showing signs of irregularity, which is a major key in knowing that you're well on that path of menopause. Okay. So typically, this phase is between 45 and 55, and the average age is 51 years of age. So that's the indication that you can kind of look at where you are and know that, hey, I'm starting this journey, I'm in the middle of this journey, or that ship is past, I'm good. That's where I am. I'm on the postmenopausal side. So as we talk about this phase, even though the range is 45 to 55, just know that you can't have that as an absolute. There are so many things that we are having to manage through in society that is impacting our menopause journey. Number one is what kind of products we're consuming. That will impact your hormones. What type of food are you eating? Is it GMO, genetically modified food? Is it organic? Is it something that's been processed a lot and been sitting on the shelf with a lot of chemicals to allow it to remain for years sometimes? Those will impact how you go through this perimenopause phase. I have literally talked to women who were in their perimenopause phase in their late 20s. So that's a pregnant pause because I want you to understand this is a conversation that is paramount, that you have a broader understanding of, and that you have conversations with your daughter, with your niece, maybe coworkers in the office, because I feel that it is the wise woman's role to be able to disseminate information that's going to go down to those who are younger and coming through this phase. And I wholeheartedly lead into it. I've never really run away from the word menopause, although a lot of women that I know don't talk to me about menopause. That's not me head down, hoping that, you won't. The reality is you got to lean into it. You got to understand, because if you don't, you're going to be suffering in silence or find yourself in a doctor's office, maybe misdiagnosed. That's my soapbox that I'm not going to get on right now. But there's so many aspects of this journey that you're going to have to take your power. You're going to have to understand what's happening to you, because if you don't, you're going to get years down the road and find that, you know what, I am in a worse situation than if I had taken some advice from Beverly or grandma, if she's around. I'm speaking the grandmas that knew about herbs and remedies. So grandma can be a lot of different ages, but I'm speaking in the scope of what my grandmothers and great grandmothers taught me. They were well up into the years. My great grandmother had 14 children and did not take any pharmaceutical HRT for her journey. She had elixir, she had tincture, she had things that she knew what to do to help her through that journey. And that's the path that I've walked through, and I'm here to share that with you. Okay, so understanding that perimenopause can happen in your 20s. That's not the norm, but it's starting to be something that's showing up a lot more as a norm than it had been an anomaly years ago. So just know that. As I talk about some of these symptoms, be thinking about, is there something that you've been aware that's showing up in your body, or are you finding that I noticed one thing, and just not to, and this is another thing, I'm going to try my best to stay on topic. Don't let somebody else define how you're going to go through this menopause journey. There's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of information out there that just because somebody had a challenge with their menopause journey, this is what's going to happen to me. And that's part of why women are fearful or resistant to lean into the word menopause. I did not have a challenging menopause journey. I had symptoms. Okay, I'm not saying that mine was like zero. However, I have talked to women who nothing, perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, they don't know what everybody's talking about because they had nothing. What I've found as I've had conversations, I actually did some market research and sent out questionnaires to women with a myriad of questions to kind of understand like what women's journey was like in general when it came to menopause. And honestly, the percentage that had some difficulty were small. Now, my sample size was around 50-ish. I had a like upwards of near 100, but a lot of women like, I don't want to do that. I don't feel like that paper. I don't want to know. But for the ones that I got responses back, very few of them had a major challenge with menopause. And many of them said they did not have hot flashes, which is something that you hear all about, the hot flashes of menopause. I didn't really have hot flashes. I had an episode where it was, to me, in retrospect, that probably was a hot flash, but it wasn't a hot flash that is just like, this is a thing. It was just like your temples were a little like warm, little glistening, but it's just like I work out. So to me, I'm dripping in sweat, and that's not a hot flash for me. That's just because I've exerted a lot of um energy and my body is just sweating it off. But some women who go through their menopause journey and can have hot flashes like that. Okay. So just know, takeaway from this is every woman's journey is different. Okay. I'm going to bounce back and forth with some conversations that I have to kind of weave in stories that kind of stay with you to help you to remember some things. I'm a person, I have to do association. I just don't want to give you a whole lot of content and not have something that you can relate it to. So I'll say this. I used to do these summits. This was a couple of years ago. I used to do them every quarter. So every 3 months or so, I was having these summits with professionals in the space of health and wellness relating to helping women on the menopause journey. And it would be like doctors, nurses, health coaches, chefs, herbalists. I mean, just a myriad, stylists, makeup artists, like the whole 360 circle when it comes to thinking about this journey. And so I did that over the years. So I've got a lot of major people that I've talked about who have provided some insight into it. One of the women that I talked to was an expat, and I think she was around 60. I know she was retiring. And she told me there was 5 of them in the family, all women, all girls and mom, and each one of them went through their journey different. One woman said it was really bad and horrible in the family. One woman said it was nothing. She didn't know what everybody was talking about because she didn't have the symptoms. The mom ended up having to have a hysterectomy, which threw her into really challenging aspect of menopause. So it's just varied. You can't say, my mom went through this, this is going to happen to me too. Be mindful, make note of it, but just know your journey can be 180 from what your mom shared with you, if she shared it with you at all. Okay, so let me get back on topic. So menopause, as we talked about, is between 45 and 55. Generally, 51 is the average age of menopause. It can happen much younger based on how you are taking care of yourself and what you're consuming and your environment, like our air. I'm in the DC metro area and we have like 4 airports around me, and all of that toxic substance that's from these planes, that affects your body. You're breathing that in, it's going into your body. It has to purge out these whatever substance. I've actually looked it up and I have some idea what it is, but that's not for this conversation. I'm a research person, so I'm always trying to learn more about this journey and what we can do to navigate it. Okay, so we got perimenopause. That is the stage before you get to menopause. So perimenopause is like 10, sometimes 15 years before you get to that 45-year range. So it could be way out or it could be a little shorter. So just know 20s, 30s, 45, that's quite a window that you can fall into perimenopause. And this is where your hormones are starting to shift. And if you think about hormones and what that picture looks like, think about what it was like when you were going through adolescence, or maybe your children were going through adolescence. It's just like, I remember one woman say, when that child got to be teen, it's like they went underground, did something and came back. They were a totally different person. It's like, oh, who is this? That same shift of hormones is happening to us, ladies. While we're working, while we're taking care of our families, while we're doing things in the community, while we're traveling. As a teenager, all you got to do is deal with the influx of maybe some acne or something. You just got to clean up your diet. And then when we get to menopause, it's just like, oh my goodness, we just got a lot of spinning plates that we're dealing with while our body's going through that change. But let me tell you, as your body's going through this change, it is an indication that she wants you to know something. she sees that there's an aspect of you that has not received the care that it needs, or you have not been moving her the way she needs. You have not been de-stressing for her. That's just a wake-up call. Like, okay, this is your time to start taking care of those scenarios that are popping up. Okay, so that's our perimenopause phase. Okay. Then you get to menopause. This is where you truly are going to get to a place where 365 days without your cycle, at that point, that's your, what I call lovingly, menopause birthday. That's your day. There has been so many memes around that I've seen that really brings that period of time into major spotlight. And I remember when I was growing up, there was these conversations about change babies. And I'm just like, what the heck is a change baby? I didn't even understand it when I was growing up. And it didn't make sense to me until I was an adult. So a change baby is these women who are going through this menopausal change, but were not totally in menopause, and they were able to conceive and carry a child, and some of them were late 40s, 50s, 60s. That's the change babies, and that's the memes that are going around. Is like these women are showing up in their provider's office and finding out, like, through some type of problem that they're dealing with, or maybe through just a checkup, that they're pregnant. So your cycle becomes irregular. So that can mean it doesn't show up for a while. That means maybe you might be light. But don't chance that, ladies, because you can have a little bundle of joy even at that stage. So just know 365 days without your cycle, then you are in a place that you can celebrate. This is your menopause birthday, and everything on the right side of that is post-menopausal period of life. So literally, we spend 3/4 of our life easily on that menopause journey. So some people think, oh, I'm just going to have menopause one day and then it's going to be over and I'm good. Well, the symptoms will subside and life will get back to normal. Like if you think about the teenagers when they were going through their hormonal shifts and they were kind of out there, and eventually they come back and they get it together and then they go off to be, wonderful parts of society, really great students, really great employees, build their own businesses. So it's no difference for us, ladies. It's just understanding that journey, okay? So we talked about perimenopause, we talked about menopause, and we talked about postmenopause. And that's why I'm on a postmenopausal stage. So once you get to the postmenopausal stage, that's when your body usually goes back into equilibrium, and all of the things that you were dealing with most likely have gone. Or if they've not totally gone, there's some tweaks that you need to take care of unless you have some health problems. So I'm a health coach, not a doctor. So you have to make sure you understand what's happening to your body, but also have these conversations with your medical doctor so you don't get into the situation where, like, okay, I missed something along the way. I just want you to be educated, to be aware, know the terminology, and understand some of the things that are going to happen and show up during this phase. So again, we talked about the perimenopause stage and some of the symptoms that can show up. The big one is like the hormonal shift. You would notice that your weight might change. This was the one that was beaming red light, warning, warning. Houston, call Houston or something about Houston. We got a problem because I am not, no, I am pretty consistent with my weight, had pretty much been consistent with my weight. And then I noticed that it was like extra pounds that was showing up on the scale. And I was just like, well, I really wasn't doing anything different, wasn't eating any different. I've always been really active. have boys in the house, so you got to hold your own with them. So yes, I was really active, but something was off. And I'm pretty in tune with my body, but something was off. So I used to be able to, this is you might call it vanity, but this is what I used to do. When I knew I was going on a vacation, I would literally go on like this detox before a vacation to just kind of purge any problems that might be going on. So if I go on vacation, I know what made me sick. If I got sick, I really get sick. Or to just drop some excess pounds. So when I go away on vacation, if I ate too much and picked up some extra pounds, I won't get on the scale. It won't be crazy because people can come back from vacation and pick up 10 pounds. I'm not hearing that. But anyway, that's what I used to do. So I would go on these detoxes and the weight wasn't changing. I was like, what's going on? Like, we used to always have like offices that would compete. Women would get together, say like something special is coming up, and they wanted to like, okay, let's do a community and we'll put $10 in and see who loses the most weight or something. Whoever lost the most weight get the $10. Like that, well, the collective amount of money that was. Anyway, you follow what I'm saying. And I would usually be one of the ones that would get the money because I could drop that weight. And I remember there was something going on where I really needed to drop some weight, some extra pounds for something. I can't remember what it was. And somebody else won. I was just like, what's up with this? Why I can't lose this weight? Honey, in the throes of my menopause journey and did not even know it. Did not even know it. So over a period of time, thanks to internet, all of the websites for the medical community. I know WebMD was one, Healthline. There's a couple of ones that I used to go to all the time, just like, what's going on with my body with this? What's going self-diagnosing. So when I had the opportunity to articulate to a doctor, I'm really clear on what's going on. I'm the one that came to the doctor's office with a notebook and a pen, and they looking at me like, ma'am, I got 10 minutes and I got 3 people waiting on me. That bothered me too. That, like I said, that's my soapbox. Like, I'm paying all of this money for medical care and you got 10 minutes in here to kind of hear me, but you're distracted because you got people waiting for you. And I'm going through menopause, which I don't understand fully, and you don't understand, and you're trying to give me a prescription for something that you don't. Please. I'm telling you, it happens a lot. A lot. So on my soapbox. So let me get back on track. So as you're going through these different symptoms that you're seeing, mine was weight. Yours may or may not be weight. Yours might be the onset of hot flashes. Yours might be brain fog. There's a litany of different things. I literally saw a list of like 100 things that women can see on their menopause journey. Not that any one woman sees all 100 of these, but it's just somebody decided to put a list together. Every time they complain to bitch about something, throw on the list, oh, that's menopause. Whether it's true or not, there's a list that exists. But usually there's the top ones, and I'll kind of touch on some of them. But as a health coach that focus on a holistic journey, I use natural remedies, I use natural protocols, I do things that can help my body to go in balance and not to mask something. And that's the great beauty about this menopause journey. You can make a decision. Do you want to go through it naturally? Do you want to use something that's from the earth and doesn't have chemicals mixed all in it? Or do you want to just like go to the doctor, give me a prescription for something, I don't want to deal with it? And that's your choice, but just be aware and knowledgeable what your choices are. Okay. As you're dealing with these symptoms, just know, and this is a write it down, you cannot continue to eat the same way you used to eat. When your body starts going through this journey, it is asking you, she is asking you for specific things. So you're going to have to make an adjustment. It doesn't mean you're going on a diet, but it's just understanding what doesn't serve you anymore, getting rid of it, getting rid of it, getting rid of it. And for some women, that might be hard. They might say, well, I love my, I don't know what it is, cake. I'm not a cake, but I love my cake. Well, you can continue to have cake. You don't have to have the same amount of cake that you had before, or you can learn to get healthier cakes, or you can decide that cake will be a treat from time to time. There's a lot of different ways, but you get to decide how you want to navigate that. Me personally, I'm not a cake person, not a cake person. But when I go out and I'm with friends and everybody's having desserts, it's like, okay, so let's split desserts. Let's order a couple different kind of desserts. We'll split and taste and stuff. And normally my taste buds have changed. So if I taste, I don't know, somewhere we had some, I can't remember. I can't even remember. Sorry. But I tasted it, it's just like, oh my God, that was so sweet. It's so sweet. My taste buds know how sweet it is. That's because I don't eat a lot of sugary desserts. So there are, for those who are bakers, there are a lot of different recipes for your favorite desserts that you can modify and still enjoy that doesn't have the sugar in it. So as we talk about nourishing our bodies and taking things away, the number one thing you got to take away is that sugar. Sugar is a toxin in the body, and it will cause your body to get sick, to slow down, to hold weight, to be lethargic, to have the brain fog, all because of sugar. And I'm going to be totally transparent. I lived in California for 6 years, something like that. And we would go down to the vineyards and we do wine tasting. And I love to try different types of wine, different types of grapes that they're made from. And I just like, I was a part of like a wine club at some point. So anyway, even with that, the wine was my dessert. I didn't have the cake, I didn't have the pies, but I would have my glass of wine. But what I've learned now, as I've gone through this menopause journey, how toxic sugar is and how it throws my body into this state of unhealthiness, I had to find a way to enjoy my wine without all the sugar. And I found this fitness person who was very much into health and wellness, but he enjoyed wines as well. So he got together and worked with scientists, different people, and they came up with a line of wines that had low sugar, minimum sulfites. These are like chemicals that's in wines. And I was a part of his club, his wine club for a while. But since then, that's been many, many, many years ago. I don't know, like 15 years ago or something. But since then, there's so many more lines of wines that have zero sugar. I mean, zero sugar, low alcohol, so you don't get a headache. One of the ones that I am intermittently purchasing for like holiday gifts or something that you can get special assemblies for certain times of the year. It's Avalon, and this was done by Cameron Diaz. She's an actress in some movie, Charlie's Angels movies. But anyway, she's in a health and wellness state of life, and she's going through a menopause journey. She enjoys her wine, but she got together and came up with this line of wine, and I drink her wine. I don't have a headache. I don't feel guilty about it. Just like no sugar. So those are the things that you have to do as you're navigating this journey. Find what you like in a different means that doesn't have the sugar or the toxins in it that your body is saying, I don't need that anymore. I don't want that anymore. So it's that simple. I still enjoy nice bottles of wine. And another thing I'll tell you, and I'm moving on, I'm moving on, is I totally gave up California wines. I came across some information about how California wines are made and the level of sulfites and chemicals and things that they spray on their grapes. It's just off the chart crazy. they have lobbyists and all these people to kind of like take care of them so they can go and market their wines. And you go into most like local stores, a whole like section of the wines are all California wines. And when I see the names of them, I know them because I lived in that area. So anyway, I'm just saying now my preference, if I have to literally go purchase some wine that's not a part of Avalon that I just spoke about, I'm turning it over, look for, did it come from Europe? Is this from Italy? Is this from France? They don't allow that crap in their wines that they make over there. And literally, my favorite place to travel is Paris. I've been there like 3 times. My 4th trip is already on the calendar. It's like 2025, I'll be in Paris again. You can go to Paris and eat all that you want practically. And you might actually lose weight. I've heard the flip. People from Paris who've come to the States and been here on vacation, and they've gained weight. Our food system has too many chemicals in it, and it definitely is something that wreaks havoc in our bodies as we're going through the menopause journey. So just know that. Keep that in mind. I have a coaching course, and I teach women how to look at the packaging and understand what's in it and where the chemicals are coming from. So that's a separate conversation, but just know, like, if you're struggling and you need some help, I got your back. I've already been through it, and I can tell you how to navigate the path without hitting all of the problems and difficulties, if you want to approach it very naturally. Another thing that you have to do is you have to make a change in your lifestyle. Stress, that was one of the ones that got me too stressed. I was working in DC, catch the metro, up at 4 o'clock in the morning, on the metro at 6 o'clock, commuting into DC like an hour or something, working 9 hours, sometimes 12 hours, depending on what kind of deadlines we had, what the calendar was like it was crazy. And I was living that and had a family and got the kids and got the husband. It is so funny. Like, you're going to get a chance to know me a lot more, but there was one office I worked with, and I supported government agencies. So I've been in many of the agencies, major agencies. And we would go around passing out the blood pressure cuffs and stuff to see what level of stress that we were under. Like, the phrase was always running around with your hair on fire. That was the norm into this meeting, into that meeting. This is a problem because the DC metro area is about supporting our country globally. So there's always something going on, always. So you're constantly on that state of stress. And women, when we keep that elevated level of stress, we can't lose weight. It affects our blood pressure. It affects our heart. Oh my God. So when you get to hearing all these things on top of your hormones shifting and changing, your body's like, no. I need you to take care of me. So I have incorporated a lot of practices to help me with stress. One of the ones that I've been doing ever since college that I have been much more focused on and really find it's so beneficial is yoga. I took my first yoga class in college as an elective. And I went in that class not knowing anything about yoga. And this lady did her breathing techniques with us, and we did little poses and stuff. And then we had some quiet time to work on the breathing. I literally fell asleep in that class. That class was so soothing, so stress-free. I literally fell asleep. So I knew that this was something that I had to keep in my life. And I've also found as I've traveled around the world, because supporting these agencies, you get a chance to travel all over the place. So a lot of the organizations that I worked for would have like lunchtime yoga. So I've taken lunchtime yoga. I've taken yoga classes on my own. And the yoga classes, don't be afraid of it, thinking it's something new and hard for you to lean into. There's so many yoga classes. There's chair yoga. You could literally sit in your chair and do yoga. So I'm going to leave there. I'm off on a tangent, I told you. So incorporating a lifestyle change is paramount during this time, okay? You have to eat foods that are whole in nature. The foods, if you're eating them and they're in the packages, you really have to start working to get away from packaged foods because those preservatives are not supporting you. You want to eat things that are from nature. This is what my grandma always say, you know, honey, don't give me nothing in a microwave. Don't give me nothing in this package. Whole foods. And you don't have to be a great cook. I'm not a cook. People say cook and they say, oh, Beverly doesn't cook, she prepares. But you can make choices where you could eat good food that will nourish your body. It will take care of your vitamins and your nutrients that your body really needs during this time. Okay. So I'm looking at my time. So let me hurry up. So when you think about menopause and you're going through this like window that's close to being that 365 days where your cycle is over, you need to lean into some extra protocols to support your body during that time. You might notice some more intense symptoms to show up. And one of the things that I would urge you is start looking into tea shops. You can talk to someone in these tea shops that's kind of, I mean, I already knew about teas from my grandmother, great grandmother, but it wasn't until I traveled and I would go into these tea shops. It is nothing but medicine for your body. All of these teas, there's dandelion, there's red clover, there's milk thistle to help your liver. Like all of these different teas have certain organs that it can help support you through this journey. Now, I was a coffee drinker, honey. I lived on black coffee, no sugar, no cream, black coffee. But that's another stressor. I mean, you can drink a cup of coffee. I think my limit is like 2 cups of coffee when I start my morning. Well, I start my morning with lemon water, but after that, I will give myself 2 cups of coffee. And after that, the rest of it is tea. Green tea. I lived in Japan for a while. Honey, you don't really see any fat, overweight, older, I would say, community of Japan, because they drinking green tea with everything. Green tea helps you to lose weight. It boosts your metabolism. It's an antioxidant. You need to keep green tea on hand. I cannot pass a good organic green tea without adding it. And I'm talking the ones that are loose leaf, if possible, not the ones that's processed in those little bags and it's been sitting on the shelf for like 6 months. Like go to a tea shop if possible. That's one of the things I love about this area. You can go to several different tea shops, and when you walk in, it smells like perfume because it's all of those natural substances. Some of them, when you touch them, they have like an oily substance to that. All of that's what your body's asking for. It's nourishing. If you come to my house, you think I got a tea shop. I love my teas. Love, 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 love my teas. Okay, so keep that in mind. No sugar though. You can start weaning yourself off of the sugar, maybe by starting with some honey, but be mindful that honeys can be different. They say it's best to have honey from the area that you're in. We have like Amish markets around us, so I'm always able to get really good honey. I'm not a big honey person, but as the seasons change to start getting colder, then I'll use a little honey in my tea because it's good for helping to get rid of bacteria. It's one of those things that have health benefits from it, but just a little, it's not whole scoop of honey. All right, so let me move along. The last one is your postmenopausal phase. And your postmenopausal phase is like, okay, we've gotten through the major challenges for the most part. If you haven't taken care of yourself, if you haven't made the shifts, if you haven't found time to give your body what it's asking for, you can run into some major health problems. This is where the doctors want to give you something for cholesterol, something for high blood pressure, something for depression, because maybe you can't manage all of these things. And once you start taking all of those substances in your body, it's not going to help you get in a place that you feel a whole lot better. It's just masking. So unless you have some major health problems and your doctor told you, like, you got to take this all for the rest of your life, work with them and say, hey, let's talk about, some other options, because there's functional practitioners, there's herbalists, there's ways. But understand the reason why your doctor is telling you what your doctor is telling you. Your doctor has I don't know if it used the word mandate, but tell me how many times you've gone in the doctor's office and came out and they did not give you a suggestion on a drug. I'm waiting. Yet to happen to me. You need this, or you need this, and think about this. No, I'm not interested in that. Let's figure out a natural way to do this. But sometimes you don't have a choice. But technology is changing, and there are things that are available to you that you can use to kind of wean yourself into a different direction. But you seriously have to have those conversations with your doctor. Seriously. But just know you hired the doctor. And if the doctor is not supporting you in the way you need, you have the power and the authority to fire your doctor and get a new doctor. You do. And this is not bashing doctors. Just understand that you have rights and you need to be able to make decisions in conjunction with your doctor. And if you can't collectively come to the right outcome, then there are other people you could talk to. Okay. So another thing that I would say is a lot of time we might need some supplements. I used to be big on supplements because I was working really hard to cover any gaps that might be happening in my body. I was taking a lot of supplements. One of the things that I'm concerned with now, there's all of these pop-up places that wants to sell supplements, and the level of authenticity is not truly there because it's not regulated the same way that the medical industry is. But there are supplements that your body needs. But if you're going to take supplements, you want to get the best quality supplements possible. One of the things that I keep on hand is spirulina and chlorella. And they function to help keep the blood pure and cleansed. I wouldn't say I was a bad eater, but I do eat out more than I used to eat out. Empty nesting, no responsibilities, got this meeting, got this event I'm going to. So I will eat, but I won't eat a large portion, but I will eat things that I normally wouldn't eat. And when I do eat things, I kind of don't feel as good when I'm eating out as when I make sure I'm eating foods that have the nutritional value that I need. So from time to time, I will add other supplements. Magnesium is a big one that women need, and you can find that in a lot of your vegetables, but everybody's body is a little different. It's difficult for me to say, hey, you need this supplement specifically, but you just have to look at your diet and figure out like what's missing. And if you are missing something, know that there are places that you can fill that gap. But just know you shouldn't 100% rely on supplements to fill the gap. You want to get that from your foods that you're eating. Supplement is something that you should use for a period of time and then be able to find the right foods that will take care of whatever deficiency you have. Like vitamin D is one that I understand we all seem to be really deficient in. I am a sun worshiping sister. So whenever I can, I am outside sunning and I walk practically every day. So I feel like I get a lot of my necessary vitamin D. The only time that I might supplement more is when the seasons change, when we have the shorter days and the longer like winter, so it's cold, so we don't get as much sunshine. So it will be important to add vitamin D there, and then still trying to find a good quality of vitamin D. Again, there's a lot of vitamin shops around me, and I will go into vitamin shops from time to time and talk to people. But again, because of technology, there's been better ways that they've been able to extract things from certain regions of the world. There's something called the blue zone. And I know I'm off on another tangent. We'll close now because I'm looking at my time. I'm way over. But there's something called the blue zone. And this is areas around the world where individuals are centenarians. And these are individuals who are 100, who have made 100 years old. And they are healthy, they are active. Like in my mind, when I see some of these images, it just blows my mind because Americans seem to just have difficulty doing basic things. And one of these areas is, I know Okinawa, Japan is one. Like I said, I lived in Japan for a while, so I do know that that's one of those zones. And these individuals are active, they're moving, they're squatting, they do a lot of things in nature. They eat foods that are not processed like we have in the United States. I think there's an area, Loma Linda, California. It's a community where they have a lot of healthy foods. They really make sure that they're eating things that are going to extend their life. So if you haven't heard of the Blue Zone, I would encourage you to do a quick Google and you can see the different areas around the world that are these blue zones. And these people are making it to 100 years. Why is it that we're having problems in menopause? Anyway, I think I'm at the place where I should get ready to close and invite you, if you're having a challenge or if you're struggling and you need some support, reach out to me. I do assessments. I do these for no cost just to help you get on track, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, but you should have some takeaways after hearing this recording. In addition to that, you have a resource, you have a place that you can come to get what you need along this journey if you choose to go it naturally and holistically. On my website, which is beverlyhillscoaching.com, I have a layout of how my program is set up. I have testimonials there, individuals who have gone through my program and have had major success. And then I've launched the Sexy Side of Menopause podcast. And this is where we're bringing women who have gone through various phases of their menopause journey, what that's been like for them, what they've leaned into in this menopause space or post-menopause space, and how their life is even better. And that's part of the conversations that's missing. I have to say, my life has been filled with change. Being a person that left college, and I've been moving ever since for like 40 years. I've 20 years for sure straight, and then bouncing around from place to place. I've left my last employment where I was flying back and forth to Ethiopia, and then the pandemic hit, and then that was an indication, you know what, we're not going to play that game. So, as transitions happen, then I'm full-time in my business supporting women on their menopause journey. So you have an advocate, you have somebody who's been through the journey, not just talking about it from a textbook. I literally have gone through it in a natural, holistic way. And it wasn't something that I don't feel any person can do if they have the mindset to lean into it, unless you have some major health problems and you're on a lot of medication. Because if you're on a lot of medication, you have to understand some of the things that I'm speaking of may cause some type of conflict, especially certain supplements and certain medications. So you definitely have to have the conversation with your doctor. But if you're in this space where you know that your body's starting to change, you don't know what's happening, you want to have a conversation with somebody to get an idea of like where you are on the journey and what you can do to like mitigate some of the things and not buy into the narrative, because there is a sexy side of menopause. So with that, ladies, I'm going to close again. I encourage you to reach out if you need any help. Again, my name is Beverly with Beverly Hills Health and Wellness Coaching, a certified health coach and the founder of the Body and Lifestyle Academy, where I help women just like you break through the stigma of menopause and lean into a fabulous, confident, and sexy new vision of themselves through a holistic journey that I refer to as stepping into a powerful next level. And we could do that on the sexy side of menopause. So thanks again, ladies, for being here. And also any of the gentlemen who happen to see this and want to know what's happening in their family dynamics as well. All right. See you next time. Bye.